Hello everyone, this is Professor Deepika from Sai Vidya Institute of Technology of Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Welcome you all for this smart grid session. So in the first video, we have discussed about the little introduction about the smart grid, and in this video, let us study what is actually a smart grid mean. So this is an introduction part 2. So coming to an electrical grid, we have discussed about an electrical grid is a vertical structure which starts from generation to a distribution end. That is, it includes generation, transmission, as well as the distribution, and that we call it as an actual smart grid, and it also includes the control structures and also some of the devices, and all those things will improve the reliability, stability, and efficiency of the system. So that is nothing but the electrical power grid. Coming to a smart grid, so we have an electrical grid, although we have a smart grid. So what is mainly a main difference between the smart grid and the electrical grid means, an electrical grid, we have discussed, it is a vertical structure which contains transmission, distribution, and which contains generation, transmission, and distribution. Whereas a smart grid means it is also an electrical grid. That means what? It also includes the vertical structure. That is, it also includes the generation, transmission, as well as the distribution parts. So all these system will lead to an electrical grid. And again, the smart grid is also an electrical grid. But what is the main difference between the electrical grid and the smart grid means? It is also an electrical grid with automation, communication support screens, and real-time measurement techniques to enhance the resiliency, forecasting, and to protect against the internal and external threats. So the smart grid means what? It is also an electrical grid. It is also a vertical structure, but it contains the automation. That means what? All the system will be automated. That means what? We need not to go and manually control the devices, but all the devices can be easily and automatically controllable. So that we call it as a automation system, and it has a good communication support scheme. So in the electrical grid, we have a communication scheme, but in the smart grid, we have an updated versions of communication scheme. So therefore, we can communicate with the different parts of an electrical power system in a fraction of second. So that is nothing but the communication support schemes, and it also has the real-time measurement technique. So that means what? If I take one home, so if I take one particular home, in a particular home, how many electrical devices are on, or how many electrical devices are consuming an electrical power, and how many are consuming the most of the power. So that we call it as a real-time system. That means what? The utility center can access the real-time data of the any particular home or any particular town or any particular industry. So the real-time data, like if I take this time, so at this particular time, how many electrical devices are on, or how many customers are consuming the electrical power. So that data can be easily available in the smart grid. But whereas in electrical grid, so that data is not available, because in an electrical grid, like in a existing electrical grid, the real-time measurement has not possible. But in case of smart grid, so this is the main feature, that is, we can access the real-time data of any customer. So that is nothing but the real-time measurement techniques. So when we have the good support, good communication scheme, and when we have an automation system, and when we have a real-time measurement system, so that will improve, or that will enhances the features of an existing grid, that improves the forecasting. That means in a nearby future, how many devices may are on, or how much power consumption can be happen. So that forecasting we can actually get to know, and it also improves the resiliency of the system. That means what? The occurrence of fault can also be reduced, and it also protect against the internal as well as the external fault. So that is nothing but the smart grid. So do remember that the smart grid is also an electrical grid, but with the automation and with a good communication support scheme, and also it has the real-time measurement technique, which enhances the resiliency, forecasting, and the forecasting of the system, and it also protects the system from external as well as the external threats. So that is nothing but a smart grid. So design framework is nothing but what? How do we design the smart grid? Like we have a existing grid. In the existing grid, how do we convert the existing grid to a smart grid? Means we have to unbundle and we have to restructure the power sector, and we can optimize its asset. Like we have so many power system apparatus, or we have so many power system properties, so that we have to utilize in a efficient manner, and we have to unbundle the structure. Like all the system will be centralized. So in the today's electrical grid, all the system is centralized. That means what? Authority will be at the one hand. That means what? One company or one authority is going to control all the parts of the power system. So that is too difficult. If we unbundle the structure, that means what? The generation should be controlled by one company, and transmission should be controlled by one company, and distribution should be controlled by one company. And like we have like this privatization structure, or if we have a decentralization, then we can design the good power system. Like we can design the smart grid in the presence of existing grid itself, and we have to restructure the power sector, so that will lead to a building of the smart grid. So the new grid should be capable of, like in the previous video session we have discussed what are the disadvantages with respect to our today's existing grid, or we have discussed how do we improve, or in which area we have to improve the today's grid. So that means that disadvantages we have discussed. So if we overcome the disadvantages, then we can build a new smart grid. So therefore the new grid should be capable of handling uncertainties in schedules and power transfer across the region. If we take a one particular region, the new smart grid can be capable of handling that uncertainties in the schedule, and also it should increase as the power transfer. So that is the main thing the new grid should be capable of. And accommodating renewable. So as we have discussed, the if we integrate more and more renewable energy sources, or the power plant which are depending on the renewable energy resources, then we can increase the then we can meet the power demand. So therefore we have to accommodate a renewable, so that property should be there in the today's smart grid. And optimizing the transfer capability of the transmission and distribution network, meeting demand for increased quality and reliable supply. So if we if the power system is supplying the power, then the power system should be capable of supplying the power in a very efficient manner with a quality of power supply. So therefore we have to optimize the transfer capability of the transmission network as well as the distribution network, so that we can meet the today's demand, and we can increases the demand with the increased quality and the reliability of the supply. And managing and resolving unpredictable events, uncertainties in operations, and planning more aggressively. Like we have to build a such algorithm, so that should be of updated version, and it should identify what is the fault which is occurring in the system, and it should give a solution for that system. So therefore we have to manage and resolve the unpredictable events, and also uncertainties in the operation, and we have to plan accordingly. So these are the properties, or these are the things the new grid should be capable of. So here you can observe. So this is one of the GIF image with respect to a smart grid. So we have a electrical grid here. You can observe here. So we have a electrical grid. From the distribution network, we are going to tap the electricity power supply. Let's say some fault has occurred in the distribution network. So due to that, what happened? This particular home cannot trap the power continuously. So therefore we have to use the other renewable energy resources. So that means what you can observe here. So we have a solar power plant, or the solar panels which are installed on the roof of every home. So during the sunny days, or during the sunny days, the solar panel are going to convert that solar energy into a electrical energy, and this energy can be stored in a battery, and when the grid power is not available, we can continuously supply the power to this particular home through this solar panel, or through this stored energy. or if we have generated more power using a solar panel, then we can actually give the power back to the grid. So this is nothing but an electrical grid. So here you can observe we have a electricity power supply from the distribution network, and also we are going to generate the power by using a solar panel which are installed at the roof of the every home. So this combination we call it as an electrical grid. And here you can observe, so this is the smart grid structure, wherein you can observe, so we have a networks, we have a distribution network, and these distribution networks or the transmission networks are tapping the power from both the power plant. Like you can observe here, we have a wind power plant and also we have a thermal power plant. So both are generating the power, and these power will be integrated to a common transmission line. And here we are going to supply the continuous power for both vehicle. And here you can observe, so this is a smart grid because it include an electrical vehicle. So if we have an electrical vehicle and we have a different controlling parameter, so that will lead to a building of a smart grid. So this is one of the GIF image according to that. Okay, so comparison of today's grid with the smart grid. So it is actually the difference between the today's existing grid as well as the smart grid. So here you can observe, so we have different parameter, and we can compare easily. So the first parameter we are going to compare is active consumer participation. So the consumer plays a very important role in the power system, because when the consumer consumes electrical power, then only we are going to generate the electrical power. So therefore the consumer interaction with the power system plays a very important role. So whereas in the today's existing grid, the consumers are ununiformed, and they do not participate in the power system. So that means what, how much power we have generated, and when the load shedding is happening, and what would be the unplanned event may occur in the future. So that data is not informed to the consumer in the today's grid, and they do not participate in the electrical power supply thing. Whereas in the smart grid, every consumers are informed. That means what, every consumer will get to know how much power is being generated and how much power is being distributed, and when the load shedding may happen or when the peak demand may occur. So that real time data can be accessed by the consumer. That means what, the consumer can actually participate in the power system event, and they involve the response of the customer and also the distributed energy resources. So in the smart grid, they involve the distributed energy resources. That means what, if we have a solar panel installed at our home, so that is also a distributed energy resources. So therefore it involves the customer interaction, and therefore the customer can also generate the power, and they can also feed the power to the electrical grid, and they involve the response of the each and every customer in the network. So that is why that is the main difference between the today's existing grid as well as the smart grid. Next, accommodation of all generation and the storage option. So in case of today's grid, there will be an obstacles for distributed energy resources interaction. As I told you, as the power demand is being increased day to day, we have to generate the more power. How do we generate more power? By integrating so many natural resources. So when we generate so many natural resources, in turn we can generate more and more power. So that accommodation of generation and the storage options are there in case of smart grid, but there are obstacles for the distributed energy resources interconnection in case of today's electrical grid. So therefore the distributed energy resources cannot generate a more power, and the storage option for the electrical power is also very less in case of today's grid. Whereas in case of smart grid, there are many distributed energy resources with a plug and play convenience focus on the renewable. That means what, we can actually play on the electrical network. That means what, if the power demand is increasing, then we can switch on all the renewable energy resources. If the power demand is not much more, then we can turn on some of the renewable energy resources. So therefore, or we can generate the more power, and that can be stored in the so many storage devices in case of smart grid. But this option is not available in case of the today's grid. So coming to a new product, services and the market. So these are limited and poorly these are limited in case of today's today's grid, and poorly integrated wholesale market and limited opportunity for the consumer. That means what? As the consumers are ununiform, they cannot market their values in the electrical power system. But whereas in case of smart grid, the new products are also available, and the service and the market is also very good in case of smart grid. And we can say it is a matured thing, and it is a well integrated markets are there, and growth of new electricity market for the consumer is also available in case of smart grid. Next, provision power quality for digital economy. So in case of today's grid, so slow response to the power quality issues. That means what? If any power quality issues are there, so that means what? There will be so much of fluctuation in case of today's grid. So that response is also very less. But in case of smart grid, rapid resolution of issues will be available, because as we get a real time data, then we can know where actually the issue has occurred, and we can go to that place, and we can actually clear the issue. So therefore rapid resolution of the issues will be possible in case of smart grid. Next, optimization of assets and operates efficiently. So we have a power system asset, or we have a power system properties, so many properties we have. So that property can be efficiently utilized and efficiently optimized in case of smart grid. But in case of today's grid, the little integration of asset management will be there by the business process silos. But in case of smart grid, good data acquisition of smart grid parameters are available, and they focus on the prevention of minimizing impact on the consumer. So, and next, coming to anticipating response to a system disturbance, that is nothing but self-healing. So if any fault occurs, then system should be able to identify that fault, and it should get rid from the fault as soon as possible. So that self-healing property is possible in case of smart grid, because it automatically detect and it automatically respond to the problem, and focus on to the prevention and minimizing impact to the customer. But in case of today's electric grid, respond to the prevent further damage, focus on the protect asset following a fault. Once the fault has occurred, then we are going to protect all the apparatus. But in case of smart grid, we are going to check the real time fault, and that fault will be protected. From that fault, we are going to protect each and every devices in the power system automatically. And coming to resiliency against cyber attack and natural disaster. So this natural disaster and the cyber attack are unknowing thing. Like when do they happen? So that data will be not available. So therefore, there are risks at the cyber security issues and the natural disaster in case of today's grid. And once the disaster occur, also slow response will be there. But in case of smart grid, it is a resilient system, and rapid resolution to the capabilities will be available in case of smart grid. So in this brief image, you can observe here. So this is actually a smart grid means. That means what? It include all the renewable energy resources. Which are the renewable energy resources it is including? You can see here it include hydrothermal power plant, it include the thermal power plant, it include the solar power plant, and it also includes the wind power plant. So all these power plants are integrated together. Here you can observe here. So all the transmission systems are integrated, and every homes are generating the power. That means what? Distributed energy resources are also available in case of smart grid. And we have a many more storage option once the power is generated in a much more manner, and that power can be stored in a updated storage devices. And each and every homes and each and every networks are integrated. If any fault occurred with this particular line, then we can easily transmit the power from the other power line. So therefore, all the transmission network, all the generating stations are integrated together, so that we call it as a smart grid. Okay, and we have a control system, and this control system will control all the parameters in the system. So this is actually the smart grid means. And this is the today's electrical grid. That means what? Only one-way communication is possible. If any fault occurred with this distribution line, then no more this home is getting the power from the supply. So this is the electrical grid. And here you can observe, so this is a smart grid because it includes so many natural resources, and these natural resources are integrated to a same distribution network. If any fault which has occurred in this thermal power plant, and we can actually cut off this thermal power plant, and we can continuously generate the power, or we can continuously supply the power by using this wind power plant. And if any fault occur in this power plant, then we can generate the power from this thermal power plant. And here you can observe, so this is a smart home because it include all the smart vehicle, and it include all the smart appliances at the home, and it also include the distributed energy resources. That means what? Solar panels are installed at the roof of the home. So therefore we can generate the power on our home, and we can also, if power has generated in a much more manner, then we can actually supply the power back to the distribution network. And here you can see we have a real-time network. That means what? The real-time data of this home, like how much power it is consuming, how many devices are on. So that data can be easily get to know by the utility center. So this is nothing but the two-way communication in the power system. So that is why we call it as a smart grid. And here you can see here, so if the power, if the distribution networks are not connected together, then you can observe here, if any fault occur with this transmission line or distribution line, then these homes are not continuously tapping the power. Okay, but if we integrate all the distribution network, then we can actually supply the power from this distribution line. So this is one of the disadvantage with respect to the today's electrical grid. Okay, thanks for watching the video.